Minister, thanks for being here in Canada Latin Channel. Welcome to being here.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's an honor for me to be part of your show today.
Thanks, Minister. And I was speaking in Spanish, present to you. And Minister, I want to start, first of all, to ask you about if you can just give us an update about what's going on in this specific area in universities and post-secondary areas. So how this pandemic and COVID affect thousands and hundreds of students across the province in Alberta.
Yeah, thank you. It's a very good question. And I think, as most people know, the pandemic has affected all of us, our daily lives, and that includes our post-secondary students, those people who are taking apprenticeship education, are in graduate studies, or are in a university and college. One of the main ways that the pandemic has affected our post-secondary system has been the requirement to shift all of our programs online. And this had to be done very quickly. And I know all of our university presidents and administrators at all of our colleges, universities, and post-secondary institutions worked very hard to shift from an in-person delivery model to an online model, and shift very quickly. And so I think they deserve a lot of congratulations and acknowledgement for the hard work that they put in, including so many of our professors, to switch to that environment. It's also made things challenging for many of our students on the employment side. Many students rely on summer jobs to finance a lot of their studies. And of course, with restrictions and many businesses being closed, that has affected many students that usually take summer jobs. And it's also creating some challenges for future employment. As students are graduating and completing their programs, there's concerns about the job opportunities that will be available to them when they graduate. So we are taking some steps, and I'd be happy to talk more about those later on, to help overcome these challenges. Now, that being said, I'm very confident that as we receive more and more vaccines over the next few weeks, we'll be able to get more Albertans vaccinated. And that means by the summer, I'm very confident we'll be able to return to almost a very normal situation and have very limited to almost no restrictions on businesses. Things can get back to normal, and that can help create more job opportunities for our students.
Minister, regarding about this topic, I want to ask you on a specific for the international students. We know Canada and every province, and specifically Alberta, you guys have a lots of international students. Is this my question is, if this pandemic affect to these specific students? I mean, because we know this is a bunch of money as well. Probably the province is losing, right, for this pandemic, because it affect somehow the international students.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, all of the travel restrictions have meant that a lot of international students were not able to come to Canada and participate in their studies. And it also meant that some international students who were planning on starting decided, change their plans and decided not to start at all. So I know that for many of our universities and colleges, this had some significant impacts. Less students means less tuition revenue, and that has created some financial challenges for our institutions. It's also limited the ability for students here in Alberta to travel abroad. International exchanges are important opportunities that students take advantage of. And of course, because of the pandemic, we haven't had those opportunities. So it has been very challenging for international students to come here to Alberta, and for students here in Alberta to travel outside the country. But again, I'm very optimistic that as we get into the summer and into the fall, we'll be able to start seeing things return to normal again.
Awesome. Well, we're waiting for this pandemic will be over shortly, as you said, because the vaccines arrive already to Canada and specifically in Alberta as well. The government is doing a great, great job with all the health restrictions and all the vaccination as well. Minister, I want to change the topic. We can move for another topic you are talking about as well. And I ask you about the Skilled Trades Apprenticeship Education Act. What exactly is this? And explain us about this specific topic.
Sure, and I'll provide a little bit of background. In 2019, I convened a panel of experts to investigate the Alberta trades and apprenticeship system. And of course, many Albertans are employed in skilled trades professions. So everything from welders to construction workers, plumbers, heavy equipment operators, all of these skilled trades professionals are incredibly valued in our economy and in our society. And we believe that we need to do more to encourage more young people to consider these job opportunities and career opportunities because we are experiencing a shortage. 3,000 skilled trades workers will retire every year for the next 10 years. So it's very important to keep our economy moving, that we have high quality welders, pipe fitters, heavy equipment operators. So we asked the panel in 2019 to give us some recommendations. What can we do to encourage more young people to take this path? And what can we do to create a very modern trades and apprenticeship system? They made a number of recommendations, which we are implementing. And one of those recommendations was to rewrite the legislation. The legislation that we have in Alberta is about 30 years old. And so it does require a lot of update and modernization. And it will also, when we make these changes, it will allow us to do new things. So I'll give you a quick example. In Germany and in many other countries around the world, there are over 300 apprenticeable occupations. So that means it's a specific job, like in business, in marketing, in finance, where somebody learns that job by working. They find a contract with an employer. They start working. They learn how to do the job by working, and also they do some courses at a post-secondary institution. And here in Alberta, we only have about 47 or 49 trades.
Okay.
So we've been taking a close look at what's happening in other countries, and we believe we can take this model of apprenticeship education, where you learn by working, and apply it to new areas like, as I mentioned, maybe marketing, finance, cybersecurity. There's many more occupations. But the current legislation that we have doesn't allow us to do this. So making these changes will allow us to modernize some old regulations and do new and exciting things when it comes to apprenticeship education.
Well, it's a great news, and hopefully the legislation will change, as you said, because we need more effort in this kind of topic. Minister, I'm gonna ask you in another change of another topic about what is exactly the cutting red tape for students and institutions. What does it mean? And talk to us about this specific topic.
Yeah, well, absolutely. One of the main priorities of Alberta's government is to reduce red tape because red tape gets in the way. It gets in the way of doing new things and allowing businesses and other organizations like our universities and colleges from operating effectively. So we're looking at reducing red tape for students and for our post-secondary institutions. And I'll give you an example. With our universities and colleges, there's a lot of reporting that occurs. They need to submit many different reports and financial documents and progress reports to the ministry and to the government of Alberta. So we're trying to find ways to reduce a lot of these reporting requirements because we don't want people's time to be spent developing reports. We want people's time to be spent building stronger post-secondary institutions and creating better environments in our classrooms. So we are trying to find ways to do that. One of the areas that we're looking at is around finances. There's a lot of financial control that the government has over a university or a college. And many other universities in Canada don't operate that way. They have more freedom to run their operations and their finances without government control. And we're looking at taking some similar steps. And I will actually have more to say about this on Thursday morning.
Excellent. Good to know. Minister, as well, I wanna ask you about if you can talk about the new launching Alberta 2038, building skills for jobs. It's a new program, and I think it's something like people need to know.
Yeah, I'd be very happy to talk about that. At a very high level, Alberta 2030 is a 10-year strategic plan for the post-secondary system. It's now 9 years, but we started it before the pandemic, and then, of course, things had to slow down as a result of the pandemic. But it'll be a 10-year strategy for our universities and colleges and trades and apprenticeship education. It'll be the first time in 15 years that Alberta has a strategic plan for our higher education system. And it's designed to help ensure that our higher education system is working as efficiently as it can be and delivering better outcomes. One of the main areas that this strategic plan will focus on is helping Alberta students develop the skills that they need for jobs and for careers. So essentially, what we're trying to strengthen is that when a student completes their program, whatever program that it is, that they are job ready, that they have some experience, they have the skills and the knowledge that employers are looking for, and they're able to move forward and find a strong career. So there are many things that we are looking at as part of this strategy, and we'll actually be announcing the strategy on Thursday morning. So I encourage you and others who are listening and watching to have a closer look on Thursday morning when we'll be announcing more details.
An ambitious plan, Minister, for all the students across Alberta. And Minister, before we end, something else you want to add before we finish the interview?
No, I think the last thing I'll say is, there's, I think, some strong light at the end of the tunnel with respect to COVID. Each and every day, we are getting more and more vaccines finally arriving. And the more vaccines we get, the faster it means that we'll be able to move past the challenging time we have. And once we get through that, we can turn all of our attention towards building our economy, creating jobs, and creating a bright future for all Albertans. And I think that's something that we all are looking forward to.
Excellent. Well, Minister, I want to say thanks. Thank you for being here in Canada Latin Channel and explain for the all Latin community exactly what exactly are working you in the post-secondary regarding about all this topic. Thanks a lot, and hopefully we can just get you in another time for another interview, Minister. And again, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, absolutely. Of course, I'm always available anytime to come and participate on your show.
Excellent. Thanks, Minister. You have a great day.
You as well. Thank you very much. Good night.